as you know, President Ali indicated that we will be rolling out a new cash grant initiative, the payment of $100,000 to every adult Guyanese in Guyana. And this was followed up, of course, by further elaboration in the 2026 budget, which I had the honor of presenting on behalf of this People's Progressive Party civic government. And so budget 2026 includes an allocation of about $62 billion to finance the rollout of this cash grant. And in addition to the provision of the resources in the budget, which has now been approved by the Parliament, viewers, you would recall, and your viewers would recall, President Ali also made a number of related pronouncements. And one of those pronouncements was his desire to advance a few important things. The first is the agenda for digitization in Guyana. And so this has been a very important pillar of what President Ali wants to achieve during the course of this current term of office. A more digital society, the build out of digital Guyana. And secondly, the rollout of an aggressive agenda for financial literacy and financial inclusion. And by that we mean more Guyanese people participating in the formal financial sector, more Guyanese people having bank accounts, more Guyanese people having formal relationships with the banking system, and more Guyanese people being able to access loans through the formal financial system. These have been big pillars of what President Ali has been speaking about. And they are big pillars of the manifesto with which we went to the electorate in 2025. So in 2025, the manifesto that we put to the electorate in advance of the September 2025 elections included dedicated chapters on financial literacy, financial inclusion, digital inclusion, and the build out of digital Guyana. They were dedicated chapters in the manifesto, and these themes have featured prominently in several speeches that the president has given. They featured in his inaugural address at State House when he was sworn in as president for this term of office. They featured in his in the visionary address that he gave at the Arthur Chung Convention Center, where he outlined his agenda for the next 5 years. So these have been constant themes and that have been emphasized by the president and have been emphasized by every other member of government on every occasion that we've spoken on related issues. So in this regard, you might ask, why is this relevant to the cash grant? In this regard, the expressed objective of the government is, and the expressed preference of the government is to be able to execute the payout of this cash grant in the most efficient possible way, and using the digital platforms that are already available. So what are those digital platforms? We already have a significant digital architecture in place in terms of payment systems. So for example, we already pay government salaries using this digital architecture. Right now, over 50,000 central government employees, these are public servants, teachers, members of the discipline services, who are currently employees of the central government. Right now, as we speak, these people do not receive a cash, right now as we speak, we have over 50,000 central government employees, public servants, teachers, members of the discipline services, all of whom every month automatically receive their monthly salaries directly into their bank accounts. So they don't have to go anywhere, they don't have to join a line, they don't have to receive a check, they don't have to go to a bank.
Function in consonant with what people were complaining and calling for last time. They said, why have the old people line up, why have people line up? So
absolutely. Absolutely. So we want, if you have a bank account, we want to be able to pay this cash grant directly into your bank account. We want to make it easy for you. We don't want you to have to join a line anywhere. We don't want you to have to go somewhere to register and then go somewhere else to go and line up and wait to have your check and then go somewhere else to deposit your check. We have obviously we have learned from the experience of the last cash grant. There were sound reasons why we used the modalities that we used on the last occasion, and it worked very well, and the overwhelming majority of people got their cash grants very smoothly, and it was very efficiently executed. And I have always said kudos to the people who were tasked with implementing it, because I think they did a great job. But of course, as a responsible government and as a thinking government too, we obviously reflect on the experiences that we had the last time around, and we think about ways in which we can improve this and do it more efficiently and more smoothly the next time around, because that's what sensible governments do. So hear me out. So what we've decided is we will be prioritizing, this time around, we will be prioritizing payments directly into bank accounts. So I'm going to let you come back with a question in a minute. So we're going to be prioritizing payments through bank accounts. And in this regard, we're going to be starting the first cohort of people. Sorry, let me say that again. So this time around, we're going to be prioritizing payments through bank accounts, because we want to make it as seamless and as smooth and as efficient and as easy as possible. And so the first cohort of eligible beneficiaries who will receive their cash grants will be those central government employees who are currently paid their salaries directly into their bank accounts. So like I said, we have over 50,000 of those. We have 50,000 of such central government employees, public servants, teachers, members of the discipline services, who have already provided us with their bank account information and who already receive their government salaries into their bank accounts. And I'm extremely pleased to say that during the course of next week, these central government employees who already received their government salaries into their bank accounts will receive their cash grants next week, directly credited into their bank accounts. And I can see some smiling.
Yes, because we're
I can see some
government has stated.
I can see some smiling faces. So those central government employees who already received their salaries into their bank accounts will receive their cash grants next week, credited to their bank account smoothly and seamlessly. They don't have to join a line, they don't have to go anywhere. It's going to go to their bank account. They just have to check their bank account online and see it credited to their bank account. But we're going further than this. We want to encourage as many people as possible to receive their cash grant in using the same modality. President Ali has said it. Since last year, he already signaled this. Since last year, President Ali already said, I am encouraging all Guyanese persons to go and open your bank account. We didn't wait until today to say it. If you check news reports, you did several news reports on this. Since last year, the president said it publicly. President Ali said, I'm encouraging all Guyanese persons to open a bank account because we want you to be financially included. We went further. We called in the banks and we worked with them. And we said to them, first of all, working with the central bank, we simplified the procedures for opening of bank accounts because we want to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to open the bank accounts. So simplified procedures and requirements were issued. The central bank issued a guideline that articulated simplified requirements for opening a bank account. As a result of which, several banks launched online platforms for opening of bank accounts so that you can actually open a bank account virtually. Several of the banks, I think at least 4 of the banks, have launched online portals through which you can go online and you can open a bank account and you submit relevant information to meet the simplified requirements and you're able to open a bank account. So next week, what we're going to be doing too is we're going to be launching an online portal through which people can self-register for this cash grant. It's going to be a very simple portal, a very simple website that you can pull up on your phone, and you can self-register and you can submit your bank account information online. And once that bank account information is submitted online and you do your self-registration, and we go through some very simple verification procedures that typically will not require you to go anywhere physically and join any line physically. Once we go through some very simple verification procedures using the online self-registration and the bank account information that you would have submitted online, we will also be paying those subsequent cohorts of eligible beneficiaries directly into their bank accounts too. So that's the plan. As far as possible, we would like to do this through bank accounts. And we're going to...
Pensioners might be eligible with that.
Well, we're going to start with the central government employees for whom we already have bank account information. They're going to be getting their cash grants next week. We're going to be launching the portal, the online portal for self-registration for the wider population, and we're going to be encouraging every eligible person to go get on board and access that website or that portal and do your self-registration, and we're going to start the payout once you self-register, enter your bank account information, and once we are able to execute successfully the simplified verification, the simple verification procedures that we said we would conduct, we'll pay you directly into your bank account. But you had a couple questions you wanted to ask me.
One quickly, I know you have to go. When I look at the amount of people it takes to roll out the system the last time, the value of having to cut checks for this many thousands, it had to have been very costly to do it that way rather than digital. Estimated cost.
Well, I would say this. You're right that there's obviously a financial cost that is involved, not just in printing the checks, but in the logistics of maintaining offices throughout the country, having people come in, they have to join a line, you have to have people manning the desks, you have security, you have to register, then you have to come back again to uplift your checks and so on. So there was an administrative cost, and obviously there's a value to people's time as well. And we want to eliminate this. This is the vision of the modern Guyana that President Ali has been speaking about. We want, as far as we possibly can, to eliminate the necessity for people to have to join long queues and waste hours and so on. We haven't fully won that battle as yet. This is still very much a work in progress, but this is precisely what we want to achieve. And we're doing it in multiple different ways. We're doing it in, we've set up these service centers in places like Leonora and Region 6 and Region 5, we're launching them. That work is being led, of course, by my colleague in the cabinet, President. That work is, of course, being led by my colleague in the cabinet, Minister Zulfikar Ali, the Minister of Public Service, Government Efficiency and Implementation, where we've set up these fantastic regional centers where citizens can go in now and apply for their birth certificate, their other certificates that are issued by GRO, their passports, their single government digital ID. They're able to do that remotely, and they're able to do it with ease and comfort. I saw Leonora myself, and easy. You go in, you apply, there's no big long line, you apply, you come back in another couple of days and you collect your document, whether it's a birth certificate or a passport or a digital ID or whatever. So this is part of what we're trying to achieve. It's something that we're rolling out aggressively. And we're going to be continuing this work ultimately to sort of eliminate the cost that you refer to. So you're right. There's a cost to printing physical checks. There's a cost to handling physical checks and distributing them and having distribution centers and so on. But there's also a cost that is involved in terms of people's time. People having to take transportation, go to a place, join a line, go back again and so on. We want to eliminate those, or minimize, I should say. We want to minimize the costs that are associated with that. Like I said, we know that we haven't completely won that battle, but we're working hard to win the battle and to eliminate every single such bottleneck or frustration that citizens face. And we're doing it aggressively. The mandate that we have from President Ali is that we must do this as aggressively as we possibly can.
Thank you very much, Minister.